We are live on YouTube. I'll be sharing the link in a few so that you can also share with your friends and family. So it's always good to have all of you here tuned in. And without much further ado, I just want to pass the baton to Louis so that he can start. He can take us through the first part of the presentation. Issues to do with the Genesis block. That's the YouTube link. If you want to share it with any person you want to send, that's the YouTube link. So without wasting much further time, let me just pass the hosting power to Louis so that he can take us through today's presentation. And then from there, I'll come with the news, and also I'll be answering any of your questions on the chat. So I'll also be on YouTube chats, both here and YouTube. So let's get started. Louis, just take it away. Go ahead and take it away. So you have the hosting rights now.
Okay, thank you, Lawrence. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I also try to share the link on the Facebook Live for the YouTube, so anybody who can come in later can actually come and can watch it. So just a moment. Yeah. So I was saying today I just thought of sharing something small about when people talk about. I mean, it's good to see the journey that Bitcoin has taken in terms of its development from the onset to where it is right now. Like how many improvements in terms of software upgrades have been done, and how many nodes are out there who are running the Bitcoin protocol. Yeah, so that's what I thought to talk about today. But perhaps before I go into the topic, I was thinking we could maybe, I think, was it 2 weeks ago, we shared about market cycles. Market cycles, and I think most of us are quite, can say they are quite happy and also excited about how the rally is coming, the rally is coming along in terms of the Bitcoin price. Because last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, we talked about the bear markets and the bull markets, and we were like, we've seen how those cycles happen. There is a downward cycle, then there is an upward cycle. Depending on how and well positioned you are, you could actually make some good benefit out of it. So this is again another reminder that this is not your traditional investment advice. So this is, of course, cryptocurrency. So, and it is bound to have a lot of volatility if you are focused on the price. So you have to be quite aware of that as you onboard this particular space. So the other thing is that our job here, or our work here, basically is to help anybody who is new, who is learning this for the first time, on the basics, the ins and outs on how this platform works in terms of terminologies, in terms of how to get a wallet, how to open an account in an exchange, because you need to know where to you need to know where to buy your Bitcoins. You need to know where you are selling your Bitcoins. So welcome, Pauline. Welcome. I think I know somebody else who's coming in. Yeah, so if you're coming to watch this letter, this is our usual one every weekend Bitcoin 101, whereby we break down what has been happening through the week, and also give perhaps a topic point on one of the discussion points in terms of what are the basics, what are the key terminologies that one needs to know or to learn as they onboard this space. Because truth be told, there's a shift coming up in terms of wealth transfer, and depending on where you're positioned, you could actually make some good gains out of it. Again, I say depending on how positioned you are, and also where how you're going to take this information. Because at the end of it all, information is just about potential power. It's actually what you do from it. So Lawrence shared the YouTube link that is active. Maybe he can share it again on the chat so that anybody can share it on on their platforms, and also that will be also where will be the recording be, because that sometimes people ask, is this recorded or not? So actually it's recorded, and you can actually see it either on the Facebook or Facebook pages, or on the Decrypt YouTube channel, because that's where it's recorded. So welcome again, meet new people to this to the meeting. So let me share my screen. Okay, just a minute. Let me share my screen. Yeah, I hope you can see my screen right now. Maybe type in maybe 1 or 2 if you can see my screen. I'll keep my session, this session, very short and clean. I don't want to diverge into a lot of information that probably can have you confused. So I'll go straight to what I was going to share. So let me see the chat. Yeah, so thank you. So let me go straight to the point. So when you talk about Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin basically since January 3rd, 2009, that is when the first Bitcoin block was mined. That is when the first Bitcoin block was mined. So since then, there have been developers or other programmers who are working on improving the like the workings of Bitcoin. Because remember, at the end of it all, Bitcoin is a software. It's a program. It's how transactions are verified within the blockchain ecosystem. So what makes it better, or what makes it works, is actually the programming language that is every day being improved. And as of today, if you see on the screen that I'm sharing on the left side, you are seeing Bitcoin Core. It is on version 0.0201. That is 0.021. So there was version 001 like that. So I just counted from this particular page that if you see, where is it? Let me go to the next page I was talking about. That's the one. So when you talk about Bitcoin core version history, it basically means where, like you see, you keep hearing, even if you keep it simple, if you check on your phones, you keep on receiving software updates, or even when you're running an application, you keep on getting like software updates, like you need to download the new version of that software. I think whether it's a Facebook, whether it's even M-Pesa within the Kenyan ecosystem, even any application keeps on getting updates. Because what do updates do? Updates basically fix problems, or rather makes the software run better, because now you have improvement. For instance, was it last month? No, that is on August, 1st of August this year, there was an upgrade. And if I open it, let me just click on it and open it. So welcome, Joe. I think he's just coming in now. So on 1st of August, as you can see over there, there was a Bitcoin update. And if I read it, it says Bitcoin Core version 0.02 is now available from. That's why you can actually download it. So this minor release includes version of bugs, fixes, and performance improvements, as well as updated translation. So they are basically translating Bitcoin software to other languages. So I think at the moment there are more than, I think I'll check over there. But if you look simply at this particular summary, if you have any bugs that you've seen within the Bitcoin workings, whether you're using a wallet, whether you are a miner, whether you are a payment provider, you need to run part of this software. And that's where will take me to my next point, which is nodes, because now nodes are where you run the systems. So I hope I'm not getting everyone lost. Just know that these are the regular updates that you get within any working application, whether it's on the iPhone, whether it's on the Samsung laptop, computer, or or a phone, any software system needs to have updates, because updates is a way to improve the functionality of that particular software. So as I said, Bitcoin by itself is a software, it's a system. So time and again, the code developers who develop, who rather improve and basically secure the Bitcoin network are the ones who continually see how to upgrade this particular software. Even it even shows you how to run the upgrade, like how to, if you're running an older version of, like now if you're running 0.19.1, you have to shut it down. Then as you can see, I don't want to go over it, but just know it's just a normal software. And that is the point maybe people at times normally miss out. Bitcoin by itself being a software or a system, there is a price element, which is far out of what we're talking about. 90% of the public out there are focused on the Bitcoin value, but we have people behind it who are actively supporting the network or supporting the platform or protecting the platform. And if I go back to the other slide, it says the Bitcoin core is programmed to decide which block contains valid transactions. The users of the Bitcoin core only accept transactions from that blockchain, making the Bitcoin blockchain that everyone else wants to use. For the latest development related to Bitcoin core you can see the official website. So maybe I can open the app, then you can see it. But in summary, it is a decentralized like network, meaning what? It is these users who keep Bitcoin decentralized, in that anybody who has, let's say, a wallet somewhere or a computer system somewhere, it doesn't matter where they are. All they need to have is internet. And once they download the system into their laptop, they form what you call a node. So they individually run their own Bitcoin core nodes, and each of these full nodes separately follows the same exact rules to decide which blockchain is valid. So I'll maybe explain briefly on what nodes mean, because nodes is where actually, that is the we can say there's this quote where they said what family is the basic what's the name? It's a basic it's a simple structure of a society, family. That is that's the word. So if you compare to that, nodes is a simple element, or rather a platform of the whole blockchain ecosystem, because that's where now when you have all these nodes put together, that's where you have the blockchain ecosystem running. So one key thing also to note is that there is no voting. There's no voting on this particular platform. So there is no voting or other corruptible processes involved. They are just individual software following the identical rules. That is the math. Remember, in past of our, in almost our presentations, we keep saying that Bitcoin is an algorithm. It's protected by maths. This is actually what it means. It's just a system based on maths that everyone is running. So everybody follows the same identical rules as per the protocol to evaluate identical blocks and coming to identical conclusion about which blockchain is valid. So the chain with the longest players or the longest people agreeing is what will form the Bitcoin blockchain. Anytime somebody disagrees or rather have their own ways of doing it, then now that's when we hear these terms like there's a fork happening. For fork meaning what? It is like it's like a separation, like just the if you look at the fork in terms of fork, it has like spokes. So the same way you have one, then when it separates, it becomes two or three, depending on. So that separation is what we call the fork. So this shared agreement is called consensus, allows people like you to only accept valid Bitcoins, enforcing Bitcoin rules against even the most powerful miners. In addition to improving Bitcoin decentralization, Bitcoin core users get what? Better security for their Bitcoins. Remember what you said, not your private keys, not your Bitcoins. So these are the people who allow you to enforce that. And then again, privacy features not available in other wallets. So if you're running a node, now as I said, I'll break down on what nodes mean, because nodes are basically separated into various categories. And then again, there is a user interface. So this is what people who are running the nodes basically get: better security, privacy features, and also user interfaces and their powerful features. So in short, that is a summary in terms of the Bitcoin core. So let me now go deeper on what do nodes exactly means. When they say a node, what is it? So due to the decentralized nature of Bitcoin, sometimes key terms or definitions may intentionally be misconstrued. This is particularly problematic for those who want to learn about Bitcoin, because they may get confused by variant vocabulary. So we've talked about centralized. I think Lawrence, in his earlier lesson last week, I think he shared about centralized by the decentralized, and also permission and permission blockchains. So this is basically a bit touching on that. So centralized meaning is like a star, whereby everything is coming from the center. When we talk about decentralized, we have various sectors with its own there's basically no single point of control. And then the third one, number C, we call it a distributed, meaning what? It is like a net, whereby every node is connected to the other, but they are all still interconnected. There's no central, central point. So, for example, a full Bitcoin node to one person may seem something slightly different to another. In light of this, let us now define what this node means. So, a node. So before we talk about Bitcoin nodes, let's talk about nodes broadly within the context of a distributed network model. So that means what? We're referring to the last image over there on your extreme right. So it says, in a distributed network, the simplest way to define a node would be to say it's a point of intersection within the network. It can act as both a redistribution point or a point of a communication endpoint. So it's like that is the ultimate, like when you talk about a road network, a roundabout could be a node. I think just from my simple understanding, if you think about a road, a road basically has very many exits, but the roundabout is like a central point. So think of that as a node. So this loose definition help us understand the different ways a Bitcoin node functions within the Bitcoin network. So there's a network, then there is these particular nodes between the network. So the following suggests that the definitions should all collectively be considered as Bitcoin nodes. So what is a full node? Because now this is where now we like categorize them. So a full node is an integral component of the Bitcoin network because it validates the blockchain. So it does this by downloading a copy of it. So it has a copy of the full copy of the blockchain. That is a full node, and that is basically now what will differentiate like your wallet, your Bitcoin wallet, like anybody who has a blockchain wallet. That is what you call a light client, which is actually over there. It's the last one actually. It's called yeah. So miners is also a node. Anybody who is mining is also part of a node. So remember, we have a wallet, which is a node. We have a wallet. Number one, we have a wallet, which is a node. A miner, anybody who is mining or running the Bitcoin protocol again is a node. We also have call them lightweight clients, which is actually, you can see over there. It is if I read over there, in a distributed network, a super node functions as a highly connected redistribution point. So they don't act as a full like a miner, but they are like, can say they're in between. So I hope I'm not confusing you, but just know we have various point of in terms of people who are using or rather running this Bitcoin protocol. So just in conclusion, Bitcoin node can have, as also entered the necessary steps a user would need to take in order to function this role. So I don't want to go much into detail as for that. But I was saying earlier, just to summarize it, how can we be able to visualize this particular system? So in summary, just know there has been about 62 software upgrades or improvements of the Bitcoin protocol, 62 in number. So the first one I think happened, let me see if I can see that. I think I'd open it area. Is it? So I can't see it. But I think I've done a summary. So just know that there has been about 62 software upgrades since its inception. Actually, I can see it over here. Let's see. It's good to show that. Yeah, but I think as I get it, just know that there has been about 62 Bitcoin version upgrades. And in total, how many nodes are there? Because that's the thing that maybe people are asking. Currently, there are about 10,916 nodes. And that I can show you. I think there was a picture I'd taken. Actually, it's a live illustration. So you can see over the chart. I don't know whether that is visible. So at the moment, this is a live illustration. If you want to check it out, it's on. It's called bitnodes.io. You can see the darker sides is actually shows where there is where there are many nodes, and that is actually around Germany, UK, Sweden. Those are where you have the biggest nodes. And then on the left side, you can see US over there, to a bit of Canada, and then down below you can see South America. In Africa, I think you can see very small dots. I mean, let me just zoom it in. There's only actually there's only one in Kenya, a Bitcoin node, and a couple of them in South Africa. So in summary, let me just open over that. So you can see France has, I think, more than 558 nodes, or rather people running the Bitcoin protocol. UK follows Japan, Australia, like that. Kenya, I think, is over there. It only has one, I think. Yeah, Kenya has one. I think I saw it earlier. Where is it? I believe Kenya, yeah, it's here. It's over there. Yeah, Kenya has only one node in operation. Egypt has one as well. I think, in Africa, those are the only ones. Let me just see on the on the map, where they can see. Yeah, I think it's only even I think Nigeria perhaps has one. So these are people who like physically run the Bitcoin software in terms of not mining in this case, not mining, because mining is far much different. A node is just you're basically like a copy of what the miners are having, and it requires less computing power. So I think that is what I thought to share. Just as I finish, if you earlier I talked about because we heard about Bitcoin Cash, we've had Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin. We have very many Bitcoin types or Bitcoin forks. So there are two types of you can say differences in terms of Bitcoin forks. So remember, fork meaning what? Fork meaning the developers are not agreeing on these upgrades. That's how actually forks happen. So you have like a team of developers working together, then they propose an upgrade. So when the upgrade is brought forth, some developers may like, no, we don't want to have this, we want to have this. So when that happens, a fork normally happens. Fork meaning what? Some will choose to implement the changes, some may not. So when that happens, the developers, or rather the miners and also the nodes who run the most, you can see here we have 10,754. So let's say half of these decide to, let's say 70% of them decide to run or to upgrade the Bitcoin software as per what developers had proposed. So when we have 70%, meaning now the 70% now will be the Bitcoin core, meaning what? It has the biggest number of node supporters. The other one will be a fork. Now, whether it's a soft fork, it will have a different name. That is when it's a hard fork, meaning they are totally going out of the Bitcoin blockchain. Then they'll be running now there, and they'll even give it another name in terms of that. So I think that I actually put a screen. I think that's over there. So this actually summarizes since the first fork happened in what in December 2014. That is the first fork happened. So when that happened, those developers choose to call theirs what? Bitcoin XT. Then we had Bitcoin Unlimited in 2016. Then Bitcoin Classic. So Bitcoin Cash actually was not the first Bitcoin Cash. It was like the fourth Bitcoin fork that happened. And you can see Genesis block happening in the year 2009. That is 3rd of January. So at the moment, I think we have very many forks, and I think that you can see it over there. Let me just get it here as I finish my session. Okay, is it? Yeah, it's over here. So at the beginning, it was Bitcoin. I hope that is clear now. It was Bitcoin. Then it moved. So there was a fork that happened, but it never got anywhere. It ended. The 3 forks. Then the first soft fork you can see over there. As it's going, you can see there are very many now other like blockchains appearing. But if I scroll down to the last part, Bitcoin is still continuing. We still have the rest of the like Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond. There are very many forks happening. Bitcoin is SV over there. So when Bitcoin Cash computer, and then you can see how that can go, but not clear. Okay. I think my network was sort of bad, but I think it's back now. Is it okay now? Is it okay now? Okay, let me see. Okay. I think I'm using my phone for connection, so that's why when I get up.
Hi, Louise. I think you're lost. We can't hear you anymore. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's a call or something. Are you back? Hello? Hi, Louise. So anyway, it's great as he does his connection back. I think we'll just go to the Bitcoin updates for the week. I hope you're learning. I hope today's topic is not really deep. I hope you've picked something new. How Bitcoin has done so many forks, and how you see a lot of people disagree on how things are running, and they decide to go apart. Types of nodes you've seen. There's a wallet, there are miners, and then there's what we call lightning node also. So these are some of the things as you're getting into the crypto space you need to learn. So I'll go straight, allow me to share my screen, and I go straight to our sharing, or what we call news for the week. And I think I'll start over from here. I hope you can see my screen, all of you. And I think this is something we should also be proud of, because if this never happened, I don't think we will be here talking about what you're talking about today. And it was on 31st October 2008 that Satoshi Nakamoto decided to send an email to a group of cryptographers in an emailing list that was called cypherpunks, explaining about Bitcoin. So it's 12 years past 7 days, 12 years, 7 days today, when Satoshi Nakamoto sent the white paper, presented to a community of cypherpunks, libertarians, and cyber security engineers by Satoshi Nakamoto, who went off the radar after that, after a few years. So of course, the white paper is online. I always say if you want to go and get the white paper, just type Bitcoin white paper. You can read more on what he really like explained. So, and of course, the context of today is white paper comes in an email. Most of these people had not met in person, but they just used to communicate via email. This is how Bitcoin was created, basically. So 12 years ago, on that 1st October, a narrow cycle of cypherpunks, cybersecurity engineers and other programmers received an itching email from anonymous called Satoshi Nakamoto. So like I said, last time I explained what Satoshi Nakamoto means. And it's a pseudo anonymous name. It's not really somebody who is called Satoshi Nakamoto. No, it's just a pseudonym that has its own meaning. So it was in this day that he sent a white paper explaining that he had come up with something that will help explain more on a digital currency. And of course, it's good also to note, you've seen in Louis' presentation that Bitcoin didn't start when Satoshi Nakamoto sent the white paper. It came about after 3 months, because that was 31st October, but the first Genesis block of Bitcoin was run in 2009, January 3rd. That's when he relayed the Genesis block, and it's here. Bitcoin itself emerged on that 2009 when Satoshi Nakamoto, now believed to be a group of people. Okay, by then now people believe that Satoshi was not just one person, it was a group of people who were working on Bitcoin, but some crypto enthusiasts mined the Genesis block. This is now what Louis was talking about. After the Genesis block, we had the first fork in 2014. We've seen that. So the white paper says, this is a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash, would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institutions. Satoshi was very clear what he intended to achieve, or they intended to achieve. And of course, to date, we've seen after that, a lot of things have come to be. So he explained also what, or they explained, what is needed is an electronic payment system based on cryptography, cryptographic proof of, just one second, based on cryptographic proof instead of trust, because of course, as we've been transacting, all our transactions are based on trust. I trust the bank that when I do a payment, or maybe mobile money transfers, or maybe Visa card, Mastercard, Western Union, that wherever I do, whenever I initiate a payment, I trust that they're gonna do that, but of course at a fee. So based on cryptographic proof of instead of trust, allowing any of two willing parties to transact directly with each other without the need of a trusted third party. So basically, that's what Bitcoin is. I can send you any amount of money from my wallet to your wallet without a need of a third party. So I just wanted to share with you that, and of course, it's good also to note that. Satoshi Nakamoto disappeared. I think it was April 23rd, 2013 or 2011. Around 2011, that's when he disappeared, and it's never ever like that he has never sent any email again. So it's good to know that 31st October 2008, that's when Bitcoin white paper was shared by either a group of people or this person called Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, to my second news is that Bitcoin briefly hits highest level since January 2008. And it's good I talk about this because Louis, last weekend, there's a weekend we were sharing about bears and bull markets, and the emotions that come after this happens. And I want to take you back now that I've taken this news of Bitcoin briefly hits highest level since January 2018. Allow me to share another screen here and I show you what has happened since 2008 in terms of Bitcoin price. We all know that in 2017, Bitcoin rallied to the highest all-time high it has ever hit since since 2013, where it rallied to 1,162. In 2017, we saw Bitcoin moving from less than $1,000 in January to a high of close to $20,000. And again, we had a bear market from December 22nd December 2017, where Bitcoin went from 19,000, you can see on my screen, to 13,800. And I guess a whole lot of people had bought Bitcoin because of fear of missing out at all-time high, from 14,000 all the way to 19,000. This is one of the reasons as to why you'll meet people and they tell you Bitcoin is a scam. I bought it at very high, it has gone down to the drains, and I sold it at low level. Just look at this. February 2018, Bitcoin went to a low of 6,200. So you can imagine somebody who was holding Bitcoin, they have Bitcoin in their wallet, and they're seeing Bitcoin dying. And like I always say, Bitcoin has been cleared dead over 394 times since it started in 2009. So you can see that 1st October 2018, Bitcoin went to 6,300. And December 2018, we had the all-time low since the all-time high of 20,000, where Bitcoin went to 3,300. And I remember 2018 is when I became like more so a Bitcoin ambassador, and I started educating people, a whole lot of people, openly about cryptocurrency, blockchain, and digital, and Bitcoin. And I remember when Bitcoin hit here, I called even a few of my friends and I told them, this is the right time to buy Bitcoin. This is the best time you can go all out and buy Bitcoin. If you have any money that you're keeping on the side, and you would want to really, like, you're not using it at the moment, just go ahead and get some Bitcoin. Now, today, what is the price of Bitcoin? Let's see. So today, somebody who got Bitcoin in 2018 at 3,300, today, their one Bitcoin is valued at 15,510 if they were to liquidate it today. And this is why the reason as to why, as we continue sharing the news, you'll see to date, Bitcoin has done what we call, it's the highest gainer in terms of assets since the whole of this year to date. I'll be showing you the figures. So to continue with my news, let's now cross over and see more on what this we were talking. And again, Bitcoin price hits 15,000 in major surge upwards. And of course, a whole lot of people are saying this is a start of a bull run. A bull run is like what happened in 2017, where Bitcoin moved from 1,000 to 20,000. And of course, at 15,500, you can see Bitcoin is just a shy of, let's say, for example, close to 4,400 for it to hit the all-time high of 2017. So there's some news that you'll see now, a whole lot of people looking at Bitcoin because of the price increase. But it's good you note that Louis has said, most of the time, don't really just go or come to the crypto space because of price corrections and stuff. Just get to learn the fundamentals, because you will sleep at peace when you see cryptocurrencies correcting downwards and moving upwards. You won't get into emotions like FOMO or greed. So to other news, of course, now going to how much Bitcoin has increased just year to date, you can see Bitcoin has risen over 118% year to date, massively outperforming gold, stocks, and the dollar. So any person who has been holding Bitcoin as an asset, year to date, they have had an increase, or they have had a price increase of 118%. If you are holding gold, you only have 27%. If it's SPX is 8.6, and then for the dollar, you only have 1.5. And if you are holding WTI, of course, you are down 40.7%, 40.7%. So it's good always also to, as you're diversifying your portfolio, it's good to also note or to really understand how other markets are performing. Because if you want to put maybe 1% of your portfolio or 10% of your portfolio to cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and other altcoins, it's good also you get to know what are other markets performing, how are stocks, bonds, S&P, oil, how are they doing. So moving on swiftly. Of course, it's more of like Bitcoin because of the price rally. So I started with the price and what has led to Bitcoin, what that price has led to. So again, today, there's this news of Bitcoin overtakes PayPal market cap, sets sights on Visa, MasterCard, and big banks. Next, now I want to go down to a table which is here so that you can see when we say market cap, what do you mean? So you can see in this table over here, let me just expand a little bit. Visa, current market cap of Visa is $384 billion currently. And JP Morgan and Chase, one of the biggest bank in the whole world, you can see they're standing at $318 billion. MasterCard is at $314 billion. And Bitcoin is standing at $279 billion. This is the market cap. So, of course, this gentleman who was sharing these, of course, he was saying next up, MasterCard and JP Morgan is about 17,500 per BTC. So if Bitcoin just hits 17,500 per Bitcoin, of course, it will have overtaken MasterCard, JP Morgan, and Visa card in terms of market cap. More so as we go on swiftly. I don't want to take a whole lot of time, so I'll just be going through. If you need these links, we can always share with you. It's good also to note that amidst election in the US, there's this lady called Cynthia. And Cynthia, who bought Bitcoin in 2013, she started buying Bitcoin in 2013, is now a US representative from the Wyoming. Now, she perhaps the biggest Bitcoin proponent in the Senate. So, of course, we've seen a whole lot of people in the US talking about how do we incorporate digital currencies. They are also thinking of CBDCs, their central bank digital currencies, digitizing the dollar, and having people who are pro cryptocurrency in the Senate and stuff. Of course, it will send positive vibes in the House, in the Senate. So you can see here she bought her first Bitcoin in 2013, and guess how much Bitcoin was in 2013? It was less than $100. It was less than $100. So this is one of the person who has been one of the biggest people in the crypto space. She openly talks about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and now she is a US representative. Again, also, as we talk matters politics, in the US, of course, you can see the number of the largest reportable CME Bitcoin futures traders hit an all-time high. And I guess this is because of people were not sure of how the election in the US will be. Of course, we expected the election to be done by Thursday. They are still counting votes. Of course, there's back and forth of maybe election was rigged. We don't know who's going to be the president and stuff. But at the moment, I know Biden is still leading with 264, while President Donald Trump is at 214. So we are waiting for I think 6 states to finish counting their votes, and then we can get to know who is the next US president. And this has to, of course, has affected how the markets have been performing the whole of this week. So, and more so the dollar. So from there, from elections, let's go now and check other countries and what has been happening in other countries. And it's good to note that Swiss crypto bank launches Tezo trading and staking. Tezo is one of another cryptocurrency, and you can see now a whole lot of countries are licensing crypto banks. So Swiss was, I think, was the first country to license crypto bank. US also gave a go ahead for its first crypto bank. Africa, we are still way way behind on such stuff. So it's good to know that now other crypto banks like Swiss Crypto Bank is allowing other cryptocurrencies also for trading and staking. Now let's go to this field of what we call institutional investors coming to crypto. And I'll start with PayPal. And you can see PayPal, just 2 weeks ago, they announced that they'll be allowing people who use PayPal to freely buy and trade cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. And of course, because of unprecedented demand, they have increased their limit to $15,000. And of course, PayPal announced that it's raised its crypto buying limits on November 2nd, following unseen demand for the digital assets among the users. And this should send a signal to all of us that people are waking up to the fact that I think the future is now digital. And that's why our topic for Bitcoin 101 is always like digitization shift. Where are you? What are you doing so that you're not left behind when institutional investors, when other banks and governments are thinking about digital cryptocurrencies and other digital platforms? So of course, you can see here the company processed 247 billion in payments in Q3 2020, up that 6% before the year for the year before, while adding 15.2 million new customers. Can you imagine that in this is in Q3? And I think this just came after they announced what they will be trading, helping people buy and sell Bitcoin in their platform. So you can see people are awakening to the fact that cryptocurrencies is not what we were told it was. Cryptocurrencies is the future, whether we like it or not. Moving on to other institutions, we know Fidelity Digital Asset is hiring more crypto engineers. Of course, these are people who never thought that Bitcoin will be, or cryptocurrencies will be, the future. Of course, Bitcoin, when it started, a lot of negative news were talked about it. People feared, and institutional companies stayed away. But now they have awakened to the fact that there's nothing we can do, and this is the future. So, of course, you can see Fidelity Digital Asset is hiring over 20 engineers to expand on their investing giants footprint in the cryptocurrency space. So of course they are looking for people who have done blockchain and digital currency courses to go and become engineers in their platform. So moving on, of course, again, it's good to note Grayscale, Bitcoin, Ethereum finds its largest ever weekly inflow. And it's good to note that Grayscale is one of the biggest Bitcoin holding company in the whole world. It's good to note that. And of course, they came and there was a time, even like last year, they were buying the most Bitcoin in mining industry. They used to buy, I think, 31% every single month from the new mined Bitcoins. So of course, institutional interest in Bitcoin and Ethereum continues to stay healthy. This is one of the company I follow a lot. I've learned a lot from them in terms of how they run their investments and stuff. And this is one of the companies that really have given institutional investors faith to believe in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So Grayscale, of course, they are growing, and they are growing big. And of course, this tells you now, if you are an individual, Bitcoin is getting away from your hands. It will reach a point where you as a person will have to earn it, because if they finish, or if the amount of circulation becomes very minimal in terms of where you can get, or how you can buy Bitcoin, because of these institutional investors, you have to earn it. I think this is a future I'm overseeing very soon. Of course, again, in another institutional news, is that Square is owned. It's good to note that Square is owned by the founder of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, and Square doubles quarterly Bitcoin revenue to $1.6 billion. So in Q3 2020, letter to shareholders, Square reported strong earnings, with Bitcoin revenue from its Cash App hitting up to $1.63 billion. This is only in Q3, and you can see a whole lot of people now have a whole belief in Bitcoin. And Jack has been one of the greatest people who, I think there was a time he used to buy $10,000 worth of Bitcoin per week. I think Bitcoin was around 4,000 or 3,000 sometime last year. And of course, these are some of the people who made people really believe, because people look up to them, and for them to believe in Bitcoin and to put a whole lot of money in it, it gives a whole lot of people believe that cryptocurrencies are not going anywhere. So you can see their earnings has hit over $1.3 billion in Q3. So in another institution, is KPMG expands crypto management suit to boost institutional investors. So I think people are now not looking for individuals to come and invest in cryptocurrencies. They are looking for institutional investors, because if you can get more money coming into your platform, if you can get more money to come into your crypto hedge fund, what will happen is that if you trade well and you know how to mitigate the downside, of course, the amount of profits you get at the end of the day is mind blowing. So cryptocurrency, KPMG's cryptocurrency management suite has expanded with its company integration of Coinmetrics products. KPMG's new tools are designed to enable the increasing institutional adoption of crypto assets. So, and this is where I usually ask people, as an individual, are you just following, or are you doing something about what you are really seeing and where the world is heading? So it's a question I want to leave with all of us. So moving on swiftly, as I almost come to my conclusion, is 1 billion Bitcoin, 1 million Bitcoin wallets are now holding $10,000 in BTC. How much do you have in terms of holding as an individual? So are you among the 1 million people or wallets? Do you own one of these wallets that have over 10,000? And you know, the beautiful thing about Bitcoin is that you don't need to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can, we call it stack your sats. You can buy as minimum as $10, $20, $30, $40, $100, $1 million. You can buy. Bitcoin is divisible to very small units, to a point where you can even buy Bitcoin worth $10. And you just keep it in your wallet. You don't need to worry about it. So you can see over 1 million Bitcoin wallets are now holding $10,000 in BTC. I remember there was a time this was a dream. I usually just wished that one day I'll see one full Bitcoin in my wallet. And of course, it's good to know that as a family, I think we should always look forward to just having one Bitcoin in your wallet as a family. That's one thing I've always encouraged people. Moving on swiftly, a former Goldman Sachs hedge fund chief has predicted Apple and Microsoft will buy Bitcoin within 5 years. Wow, interesting. This is a gentleman called Raoul Paul, and if you follow him on Twitter, he's one of the biggest people who's been really like talking about Bitcoin. And he's a former hedge fund, Goldman Sachs hedge fund chief manager. He was not a believer of Bitcoin until he did an interview with one of my friends I follow. And after that, he's gone parabolic in terms of Bitcoin. He's gone crazy with Bitcoin, buying Bitcoins and stuff. And of course, he's one of the gentlemen who previously predicted the price of Bitcoin will soon go to $1 million. Now imagine having one Bitcoin and it goes to $1 million when we don't know when. But of course, with a lot of institutional investors coming on board, like MicroStrategy, Square, adding Bitcoins each and every other time, we know scarcity will come in. And then after scarcity hits, what will happen is that demand will go up, and of course, the price will follow. The price will follow. So these are some of the things that I really read about institutional investors, and they keep me thinking, what are you doing as an individual also to really take care of your future? So from there, let's go now to countries. And I want to go to CBDCs. Last time we shared that also Kenya, as a country, they are looking forward to starting a central bank digital currency. They are on the way looking on how this will work. So it's good to note that China was the first country that really it was not the first country to launch its CBDC. It was not the first country. It's good to note that. But since they launched their CBDC, central bank digital currency, it has tested, or the test crosses $3 million payment milestone from 4 million transactions. So China is not joking. It's not looking for other countries to believe that digital yuan digital currencies is the way to go. As people are thinking about it, China is very much ahead in testing and also in really getting to correct maybe the errors are there. And you can read here, China expands central bank digital currency development has reached over a new milestone of 2 billion yuan in total payments processed despite still being in the testing phase. It's not really like launch. They are still testing it before they launch it to the global world. With a few countries having released their own sovereign digital currencies, it's good also to note that there's a link I shared in our Telegram group. I also share that Telegram group so that you can join. And IMF had invited several key bodies who usually like talk about global currencies and stuff. And one of the things that we're discussing is cross-border payments. I remember chairman, no, not chairman, yeah, chairman, saying, Mary saying that over 80% of central banks are looking to coming up with a digital currency. Over 80%. And I think our own governor, Dr. Njoroge, was one of the speakers in those forums. And that's where he spoke about also Kenya is looking forward to partnering with other countries who are developing central bank digital currencies so that we are not left behind. So stakeholders are calling for more international collaboration on CBDC. So of course, these will of course, bring the world to a really faster, secure, more faster, more secure, less fees way of transacting across the borders. CBDC will help us do that. So crossing over to Europe, now I'm talking about countries, is that Christine Lagarde, the former IMF leader or chairman, she's now the leader of Europe Central Bank, invites public to comment on the Eurozone CBDC. Europe is also coming up with their own CBDCs. They don't want to be left behind. So the former IMF chief and president of the Europe Central Bank solicited input on possible CBDC. Of course, they want to listen to what people are expecting. What are they looking forward to when they launch their CBDC? So, and I can't wait even also in our country to have a forum where we are told to put in to just give inputs on the same. So from Europe we go to Australia, and it's good to also know that Australia Central Bank kicks off CBDC research project with Consensus as a partner. So basically, this is what I mean. A whole lot of countries are looking forward to coming up with a digital currency. And I can't wait for also most of the African countries not to be left behind and also come up with this. So again, in Australia, before I leave Australia, it's good to note that in other news that, let's see, Australian senator calls for blockchain adoption to lift financial regulatory compliance. So you can see they talked ill about it before. Now they have seen the sense of blockchain technology and how secure, how transparent, how the case of immutability, you cannot really like change anything that is over there. And now they are looking at how can we take advantage of these technology to take our countries and also our data to the next level. So that's good news. And then from there we go to Russia. And it's good to know that Russia hydropower giant opens Bitcoin mining farm. Of course, now these are governments looking at, we were late to getting Bitcoins. How can we get more Bitcoins? So of course, Russia has been one of the countries that has really encouraged people to use cryptocurrencies. Amidst the government warning people not to trade or even like do peer-to-peer transactions, just to buy and hold. It's one of the countries where we have a lot of Bitcoin volumes moving from one person to another. So it's amazing. So right now, their biggest hydropower giant is going into Bitcoin mining. And then from there, we go to Nigeria. Let's come to Africa. And Nigeria hopes blockchain will generate over $10 billion in revenue by 2030. I like the fact that other African countries are looking at taking advantage of the biggest industrial revolution we have after blockchain technology revolution we have after internet. So and also like in person, I'll encourage you to keep on doing studies on what is happening. Blockchain does not only involve cryptocurrencies. Let's not forget that it has a whole lot of things that you can do on blockchain. And I think maybe next week we'll be sharing on other ways you can use blockchain technology apart from cryptocurrency. We can do that as a topic. So from there we go to Venezuela. And it's good to note that Venezuela expands scope of its remittance platform with Bitcoin and Litecoin. Litecoin is another cryptocurrency. We have over 7,000 cryptocurrencies. We call them altcoins. So Litecoin is one of them. And it's good to know that apart from Bitcoin, now they have added Litecoin in terms of remittances. So if you want to buy like oil and anything in Venezuela, the government can allow you freely to do that. And to my last news, is that Bangladesh HSBC is using blockchain to import over 20,000 tons of fuel oil from Singapore. So this is another use case of blockchain, other use cases of blockchain. So that's my parting shot. I don't want to take more of your time, and I think it's good we finish with, I believe this is the usher of a new era, routing international trade transactions as businesses and government recognize three key things about Bitcoin and also blockchain is transparency, security, and swiftness in performance tasks using blockchain technology. They have forgotten to talk also about the lesser fees, anonymity, and such stuff. So I hope with that, we've covered a whole lot of stuff that is happening across the globe. And I really do ask if you have any questions, drop them over there. This recording is also on YouTube, so I shared the link earlier. And then I think what I can do, I can just share our Telegram channel here, so that if you've not joined our Telegram channel, you can go ahead and also join there, because we will always share a whole lot of things there. In terms of what is happening, what is going on, and in case you need also to suggest anything you want us to talk about, it's a high time we do. So my parting shot as I hand over to Louis just to make a conclusion is that soon we'll be doing a masterclass, a one-day masterclass. I'll be posting it on our chat. I think it will be on 20. It will be on 20th. On 20th of November. 20th of, let me just mute. Somebody has unmuted. So what I'm saying is that okay, great. What I'm saying is that on 20th of this month, we'll be holding a one-day masterclass, 2 hours, where we'll be educating people more on some amazing stuff that if you're in Kenya, now you'll be able to buy Bitcoin from your M-Pesa in one of the biggest exchanges in the whole world. So we'll be sharing these and more information in our next Bitcoin 101. And we'll also encourage a whole lot of us to share these with our friends and families, and then come and learn. Some people don't want to use platforms where there's a third party involved. Some people don't want somebody to touch their cash when they're making any transaction. So this is some of the things we're going to be doing this month of November. So we look forward to you coming on board and learning more when we really go all out and invite our people over there. So with that, I want to wish you a blessed weekend. I want to wish you all the best in everything you're doing. Again, this Bitcoin 101 hosted by Decrypt Edge Consultants. And Louis, any parting shot?
I know for me, that's all for today. I think that was quite a informative session, but it was I think it was a bit technical for most people, but that's how you also have to keep improving your knowledge as well, as much as technical as it is. But what we recommend, just view or rather check out our past recordings for when you started, so that at least you can get the basics as we go about. So that's it for me, and nothing much.
Okay, great. I've also posted the YouTube link again for those people who came in later. So God bless you all. God bless your families. God bless your businesses. And as Bitcoin starts its bull run, may we ride with it. May God bless all of you in everything you're doing. Let's take advantage of the biggest wealth transfer in the whole world. I won't lie to you. It's here. This is a decade for you to go to the next level. And I'm wishing all of you all the best. So God bless you all. It's good to see you. Let's meet again next weekend, same time, same place. That is Zoom and on YouTube. So bye-bye.